This video is going to be very important for those who are below 5'9". As I said, 5'9" is a height where you face things that are more of a downhill battle versus an uphill battle. And I did show evolutionary psychology studies, but as a person on YouTube asked me a question, what to do if you're below that height? And he is below 5'9". He's 5'4", I believe. And he's, oh no, I'm so short. I'm below 5'9". What am I going to do? And I do have a student who's very suicidal over this 5'9" thing too. And I want to make a video addressing the misconceptions. It is not insurmountable. I'm going to tell you exactly what I will cover today. I will talk about why it's not insurmountable. Okay. Uphill battle versus downhill. Second thing I'll talk about is why you need to be 20 out of 35 and why you need compensation theory. Looks is only one category. Next one, I'll talk about the extra 150 approaches for every single inch that you have that are less. I'll also talk about the inner game issues that gets created from this stuff. I'll talk about the solution, how Elite 30, because in the Elite Playbook, one of my students that used it was 5'4". My best student is 5'4", and he got 150 lays with my training. 5'4" Filipino guy. He already had perfect social skills. And why do social skills matter? It is not about the vibe that is unlimited. It is the social skills. And lastly, he has perfect body language, the same fashion. So first of all, 5'9" is a height that scientific studies also shows. And women, he also said they would not date someone that is below 5'9". That's what they say. But a lot of my students are actually below 5'9" who got laid. If you look at my site, johnelite.com, you will see a lot of the students are 5'5", 5'4". They still get laid. Lots of them, actually. I'm probably the only Daygame coach in the world that got so many short students laid. Probably the only one for Daygame. So you got to think, right? For most PUAs, they're socially retarded. So for them, they don't have that much in the category of social skills. So the very first thing you got to think about, if you are short, there are other areas to compensate. As I said before, the first area you got to think about is social skills. This is the area that's really lacking among short people. Social calibrations, body language, emotional intelligence, and the game. The problem with short students is that when they're socially retarded because of Asperger's and autism, hard cases and possible cases, they usually will not have this category. And they'll be very unconfident and they'll have inner game issues. So when they only focus on the game, which is from a tall, white or black looking Daygame coach, okay? If they're tall and black looking, obviously if they're tall, it's easier. If they're above 5'9", these dating coaches who are above it has no game. It's either kill battle. So if it's like 5'8" and a half to 5'3", they have pretty much very similar compliance, but obviously the 5'3" and 5'4" students have it tougher. And for the students that are above 5'9", I once posted all my student results. They still get laid, but they get laid fast. I put like a green arrow or a green square, the yellow and red for the times they get laid. And there seems to be a consistent patterns of students who are above 5'9" who gets laid a lot faster. Yes, height does make it an uphill or downhill battle. Height is not everything. It is not insurmountable. You need to be 20 out of 35. And a lot of the students who are very good, one of my best students is 5'4" Filipino. So basically the best way to really understand about the height issue is that imagine you're not 5'8", right? You are 5 foot. Now you're 5'8". You're not 5 foot. That's if you are not having any sort of social skills. Let's say this category is gone. Like most PUAs and most dating coaches, they actually do not have that much social skills. So we have to take this category completely out because most of them sound like autistic robots. They sound like retarded. And then remember, PUA got down fucking lines. They cannot do social skills. So they have to SMV it and maybe a little bit of motion to get over the line if you're tall, black looking or tall, white looking. Even if you're Indian and you look black, women will give you a black SMV, but they need a little bit of motion to get over that line. 20 out of 35. So if you're 5'8", this is plus 150 approaches. This is discounting social skills, which they do not have. They use game as conversational skills, which is autistic as fuck. So if you're 5'7", let's just say you're not me and you're not a professional dating coach who has a lot of skill. You will be adding another 150. That's normally, this is when you're completely Asperger's and autistic. That would be another 150. That's 300 more approaches. If you are not learning my game. If you're learning my game, it'll be cut to a fraction with Elite 30. And let's say you're 5'6". Now is another plus 150. Now you can see in this range, right? When it gets shorter, 5'5". Right? Another plus 150. And even the student, before he trained under me, he actually, for the 150 lays, he used to approach a lot of girls again. So he has reduced that through my training. And then 5'4", okay, another 150. And then 5'3", you get the point. So every single one of them, usually without my game, add 150 approaches. And if you're going direct, it'll be even lower, especially when you're down here. You'll get nothing but flakes here. I hate to say it, but that's true. So if you're 5'4", for example, 150 plus 150 is 300, 600, that's 900, but minus that's around 800, somewhere like that. It'll be 800 approaches without my name, averagely. It doesn't mean to get laid, but at least to pull. It depends. But now you can see with every single height difference, it adds more to it. And of course, when you add social skills and social calibrations, the score goes up. Because if you were to think about it this way, if this is 2.5 and 2.5, emotional intelligence is 2.5, your game is 2.5. So at some point, I'm not saying my game is at 2.5. I'm saying at some point it'll cap off at 2.5. This is why when you're tall and black looking and you teach, you guys start using emotions to get a little bit more of that score to get over the line. Now it becomes 2.5 plus 2.5. So it becomes like this is the area where they focus on. This is the taller dating coaches who are white and black looking. They always talk about vibing it, emotions. But that's the problem with shorter students because they don't have the 5'9" height. They don't have a reduction that approaches. So what happens is that they should be focusing on the top two areas. The shorter students should be focusing on here and social calibrations because you rather get 5 here. And because they usually have a bad vibe. Because they're shorter, they'll have more mental issues. For example, this is the potential up here. This is the action. This is the results. And this is the belief. And the reason why shorter people have less belief in themselves is because of this formula. PARB. At first, they believe they have a lot of potential. So they start out with RSD. They start with direct game or natural and direct, where they're naturally creepy. So what happens is they start spam approaching. They believe in themselves 100%. Belief is very important when it's paired up with the right skills. What happens is their actions, if it's not part of Elite 30 and Elite Playbook, their actions are not going to bring them results. So they'll start to have the results right here for a while. And with the results, their belief will change. So when they start approaching again the second time, the second round, the second season, now they believe in themselves a little bit less. They still think they have a lot of potential. Then they take a certain action. Bad fashion, lack of height, lack of muscle, lack of social skills, lack of body language, emotional problems. Their results are shit. And for some of these people who are, one of my students, very suicidal, okay? Hope you do nothing stupid because you're not understanding this chart. I made it for you. So don't feel bad about yourself or beat yourself up. I'm making this for you. The results are lower. And for this student, I've noticed that they only, when they're approaching, they went direct 5'4". And then because they learned from a tall coach, this other guy learned from a French coach who was in France. His name's called David. Tall, good looking guy, Jewish, but he looks white. So he gets a 10 out of 10. So for him, he told this student he was too fucking short. And for him, he went direct. He pulled during night game, but day game, he can barely get incidents, which is no big deal. And just like phone numbers. He's a tall guy that goes direct. So what happened with this student is he was only making approaches and his conversational skills for 1 minute. 1 minute does not equal instant day. You need to be at least 6 to 8 minutes. 6 to 8 minutes. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to move her to instant. So if he only has the social skills and the social calibrations to do 1 fucking minute, he should expect nothing but flakes because it's too goddamn short. Not the height, but the approaches. is too fucking short. So basically the results will be lower. And what will happen is his belief in himself, he'll start to blame the height. So the emotional problems will be minus like, it's not like 2.5, it'll be minus 50. And then he'll go back and he believes that potential is lower. But he keeps saying, what's the point? So what do you think about heel lifts? I think heel lifts are fucking stupid because they only give you 1.5 inches of height. They do go lower. Elevator shoes it is. If you're above 5'9", they have no fucking game whatsoever. They have no game. And yes, I am like decent looking, and this does help me a great deal. He says, what if I'm 5'5", 4 inches elevator shoes are too uncomfortable? You do need elevator shoes. Second of all, holy shit, this is devastating. I watched this whole thing. It's so demoralizing. I had a video talking about 5'9", but I also told him that there's another video on it talking about height where I show all my student results. And it was called Daygame, Why Height Matters. Why tall Daygame coaches have no skills. And it's true, they don't have the skills. That's what you got to work on, okay? And so your shorter students are giving up. I'm 5'5". It hurts a lot knowing I'm going to have to give up the elevator shoes to get me up to 5'7", still not. So this guy wrote me down on YouTube right now, just today, 5 hours ago. And he says, I've seen your Filipino 5'5" student getting 150 lays in Australia. And that helped me get over that shit going on in my mind but this video has something like fucked me up. It's not here to fuck you up. It's not here to make you feel worse about yourself. All this stuff is to realize that you got to compensate in other areas. So basically, what is the solution? So we have to look at why the 5'5" student did so well. Let's do the math. Our 5'4" Filipino student, who was my best student, a superstar. Let's say, for example, his looks is only like 5.5. Good fashion. So with his fashion, maybe around 6, because he dressed the same way and he has the same clothing as I do, blazers, all that shit. His money, because of his job, he's actually closer to 2.5. You understand that? He may be Asian, so that's 1 out of 10. Okay. But his Instagram, his social media is actually pretty good. So that will raise him up at least a few points. Okay. The social media at least gets him like a 3.5 or something like that. So basically 6, 7, 8, 9.5, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So it's 12.5 or 12. And then what's left over to 20 is 8. So it just game above 8 out of 10. First of all, you got to think, where does he get his game above 8 out of 10? Before, he was not above 8 out of 10. His social skills is the full 2.5. He can navigate a social circle. So for him, because he's using my fashion, he has perfect social skills, 2.5. I say a lot of good things about him, but his emotions are very good because he's very alpha. He posed like a Filipino. Filipinos are very dark triads and they're aggressive when they pull. And that's a good thing. It's like a bulldog. They bite and they never let go, like a pit bull. They pull her without giving a shit what she thinks. It's not about being more emotional intelligent for him. So this is not the highest. This is not 2.5. This is probably more 1 out of 10. But regardless, it was still not bad. So for you, you need to not give a shit what the woman thinks. You need to steamroll over her if you're short. You need to stop giving a fuck. And you need to maximize social skills. His body language is the full 2.5. So that's already 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. You see that? That's already 6 out of 10. His game was basically 1 out of 10 before. Because he was using Justin Wayne's game. Justin Wayne only has testimonials. So it's not about direct game. Just because I say direct does not work. Justin Wayne has like a direct, neutral, indirect. But because he goes direct, he cuts out all the testimonials. And when you use romance, you cut out all the testimonials. It's very dangerous too, because there's a direct component. It's a combined hybrid method of adaptation that's going to get you the results, which I'll talk about later. But for now, let's talk about that. So I taught him my version of my game, the Asian sexual connection. So what happened was he got the full 2.5. Before, he would have done close to a few hundred approaches. Over the week, he'll do 500 approaches. You'll get 2 pulls during day game. That was his old stats before. And sometimes it equals a lay, sometimes it equals a pull. He claims he got same day lays before then, but not in day game. I was the first one to teach her. That's a fact. So never fucking confuse. But give me credit where it's due. So my game is maxed out. My game's already maxed out because he's already maxing out all the other categories. Now he's getting at 2.5. That's 7.5 and that's 8. So he basically brought it down to a few approaches. In less than 3 days, he got one leg. Okay. One leg. After a few more days, 5 days, he got another leg. He got 5 lays during 3 weeks. And he quit day game to learn night game. And he went to social primers. I don't know. Bullshit. So social prime, tall, good looking, low golden ratio, ugly women. I guess. But at that time, he still showed me his day game testimonial. He secretly sneaked them up to me. So I was able to get the screenshots and I could see where his results were. But you can see he lowered 500 down to 5 lays during that 3 weeks because he get all these components. So this is the 150 lay student right here. Okay. My best student. You can see him. The second short student that got laid recently is this guy. He's not that bad looking. So I talk about Asians should either be good looking, strong, or tall. For him, he is 5'4" and he got a girlfriend, but he was very ungrateful. So he didn't want to make a video testimonial. Okay. The next student, okay, of course, the tall student also got like a blowjob and lay. Our short student pulled twice. This is the other guy who was the impossible case or unteachable. So he pulled twice and he's dating now, finally. When he's working on his accent a little bit, he's starting to go on dates with his coworkers, which is good. And one Indian student here who just joined the Access, he pulled, but he needs a little bit more training. He's got to the point where he can pull women again after he reaches 60, but this Access will help him a lot. And also, I have another 5 foot, how tall is this guy? 5'4", 5'5". He was one of Queefing Casanova's old students, but he wanted to get laid again, especially in Toronto. And for him, he got laid during social circle by working on Elite 30. His social skills is not bad. For his job, he has to talk to a lot of people, but he needed to work on his body language. It was shit. And when I worked with him on that for the pre-bootcamp training, guess what happened? He got laid. So for him, he's fine. So, let's see. 5'4", Indian. You see that? They all use the same formula. My blazers, my social skills, my body language. 5'7", Indian. He seemed to lay so many times he quit the game because he had a mental breakdown. He kept banging like a blonde, hot white woman, all these Latinas, Brazilians, and he looks almost like Latino, so he doesn't look Indian. Indians are the only race that can switch their SMV up and down. 5'6", 5'7" Indian guy. My boot camp he pulled twice. Back at home when afterwards he got 5 lays. I think it was mostly white girls. That's what he says on YouTube Live. Short Indian, 5'7". Not always tall students, but tall students do have it faster. 5'8" Latino guy. Okay. No results, 6 months approaching. I changed his hair color. He learned Elite 30 for pre-boot camp. It's Canada. Asian woman. She's a single mother. And then afterwards, he got a Colombian girlfriend. She's 18. 5'7" Latino guy. Okay. 5'7". He banged a 6'2" woman and he couldn't believe it. She's 6'2". And then afterwards, he got a Latina girlfriend, which is Colombian, same thing. And she's 8.5 out of 10 and looks really hot. 5'7", Spanish student, 2 girlfriends. Are you starting to see a pattern here? I'm the only dating coach or day game coach in the world that can get shorter students laid like that. I can go on, but there are so many short students. For example, here's the guy who has 150 lays. So at that time, he was at his 43rd lay count for day game. And I was coaching him all the way up to like over 200. So he's banged so many of these women here. And this is his first time that he pulled and fingered her 2 lays in one day. That's when he got much better. He showed me a lot of lay picks. So 6 lay in day game, bro. That's when he was going to social prize bootcamp. But he's giving me the testimonials. He has to indirectly do it because a lot of politics. Just fuck the stripper day game. I know you're happy for me. You can put this on your testimonials. See that? You fucked a stripper. So this is what I'm talking about. More women. So that shatters your fucking reality. And if I were to go down the entire list, there'll be too many people to look at. Like I said, I can go all day just and show you all the short students. It'll just keep going on and on. This video will never end. I can just go on all day. There's going to be way too many students and there's a lot of short students. All right. But those are just the video testimonials. Now, what do you have to say? For those of you that says, oh, I'm too short, I'm 5'4". Yeah, but I got 5'4" students laid.